Hello everyone, my name is Nargis Nasreen. So let's start today's video. We're going to start a constraint, like different type of constraint that we can apply on a table. Okay, and the first one that we'll be talking about in today's class is primary key. So let's first try to understand what is a constraint. Okay, so I will give the heading first. Okay, so in constraint, what we do, we make some specific rules, or we can say some kind of limitations we apply. That is going to define our table, like what type of table we are actually making. So what we can write in this, that it is a collection of specific rules or limits that we define in our table. If you have watched the last video, in that we made a database using all the SQL components, and in that we applied a few constraints also on certain columns like not null or primary key and auto increment, like that. So what all those things are doing, so they are kind of limiting. Like if you are using not null, so that means you cannot keep uh, any part of that column empty. No value is going to be empty, right? If you are doing auto increment, that means the value will increase by itself. We do not have to write down the values in that. So that is a way of kind of defining the rules, and we are kind of setting the limit on our columns when we make certain table. Okay, so in that case we use constraint. So now what is the role of this? So we already know the role, but still let's try to understand it better. So the role of constraint is to outline the existing relationship between different tables in our database. Okay, so yeah, this is what we can do. Like we make foreign key, primary key, and we kind of connect the table. We make relationship between the tables. So we are going to learn about each and every constraint. So let's start with the first one, that is the primary key. I'm going to write down the topic name, and then we will learn what is this primary key and why do we use this. Okay, so primary key is we can say it is a column. Okay, or set of columns also. It's not that you have to take one column and you have to apply this constant primary key on that. You can take set of columns, and then all together you can make that collection of column as primary key. Okay, so we can write or set of columns, okay, whose value uh, exists and is unique for every record in a table. So it is called as primary key. It's called a primary key. Okay. So what is this? So basically it is applied on a column or group of columns in which no record should be empty. Okay. And all values should be unique as well. Okay. So these are some conditions. Only then that column will become primary, or primary key will get applied on that column or set of columns. Okay. Now let's talk about few points, like some rules we can see. So now the first one is that each table can have one and only one primary key. You cannot have more than one primary key in a single table. Okay, there is going to be only one primary key. Then the next one is, again, it can be composed of more than one column, right? So we can write, it's not necessary, but it is possible. May be composed of a set of columns. Okay. Third point we can mention here is, it cannot contain null values. It cannot contain null values. Then fourth point that we can mention is, yeah, it's not necessary that you will have a primary key in every table. It's not important. So yeah, there can be few tables without primary key. It is possible. We can write not all tables will have a primary key. Okay. Now, next, there is one more thing that you should know. That is, if you have watched the last video, we made customer table, and in that on customer ID we made that column as primary key, right? And one more constant that we applied was auto increment. Okay, so there is one kind of a rule we can say, that is auto increment. Auto increment is applied only if the values is primary key or unique key or index. Do not worry about unique key and index. These are different type of constraint that we'll be learning later. Okay. So this is the rule. You cannot apply auto increment on any column. It should follow this rule. Okay. Now, so we can call overall that primary key is the unique identifier of a table. Let me write it down also. That primary key is unique identifier of a table. Okay. So I think I have discussed all about primary key. If there's any other thing, that is fine. And if you have any doubt in that, you can ask in the comment section. But moving on, now let's try to understand how to apply this constant on certain columns. So we have already done that. Again, I will take the same last video example. In that, we applied primary key constant on the customer ID column. If you have not watched that video, please go through it. Okay, but that is the only one way. There are so many other ways to do that. Let's talk about all of those. I will be deleting all of these things. So I will be making, let's take one example. So I will take this table example. Create, let me write it properly. Create table customers. Okay, and we are going to start. So I'm going to talk about the first way. So this is going to be the first way. That is, we can make a column that is going to be customer ID, and it will be of type n, and we can make this as primary key, because every customer will have their customer ID, and it's not something which is going to be missing, and also this is going to be unique, so we can make this column as primary key. So you have to be careful about all of these things before making any column as primary key. Then we can add another columns also, like purchase date, and the type is going to be date. So like that, you can add different columns. So this is the one way of making primary key, right, inside a table. Second is, we can write like this: create table customers. You can make the column customer ID and purchase date, and you are going to include all those columns that you want, and in the end you are going to write down primary key, and then inside you are going to write down which column you want to take. So then you are going to mention customer ID or whatever column you feel is right. for this, and yeah, you have to give comma also. Okay, after making all the columns, you have to give comma, and then you are going to include this line to apply the primary key constant. Okay, this is another way. Third way is this. You'll be writing create table customers. Then you will be writing customer ID, INT, then let's say purchase date, date. Okay, so you are right now not sure which column to make primary key, so you just made the table. Now you know that okay, you want to make customer ID as primary key also. So you cannot just go, you have already run this query, so you cannot go and you are going to add this. Okay, I'm going to write down the line here primary key and all, because the table is already created, so you cannot do that. So in this case, what we have to do, we will be using alter command, right? So we'll write alter table customers, add primary key, and then the column name, that is customer ID. Okay, so these are the different ways using which you can apply this constant on certain column of a table, right? So, and do not worry about this. We will see the practical implementation also later in our videos. And so this is just, I show the different way how you can do this. And they are very simple to understand if you have gone through all the videos. So this is not tough to understand, like using alter command or making any column as primary key and all. Okay, so this is all about primary key. If after watching this video, if you're facing any doubt, you can always ask in the comment section. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.